Hi people, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new to this channel. This is Fiona at Drawings in a Drawer, and today I am testing Baohong watercolour paper. This is hot pressed paper, and this format is kind of postcard sized, as you can see from the footage, and it's, I think, possibly the first time I've ever used it for an actual complete painting. I got this paper quite a long time ago, I think at least a year ago, and I don't know why I never ended up testing it. I very often do this. I still have blocks of watercolour paper that I haven't tested yet because I get so used to painting on one brand that it then takes me quite a while to get out of that habit and to go for something new. But I wanted to make a small painting. I didn't have a lot of time and I had this block lying around, so I thought I would try it, and was I impressed. So first off, let's talk about this paper. This is Academy watercolour paper, and apparently for Baohong, Academy stands for student grade paper. And that is the first thing that really stands out to me, is that this paper is student grade and that it's made of cotton. So it's 100% cotton. Usually student grade paper is made of cellulose or wood pulp, and watercolour behaves very differently on cellulose paper compared to 100% cotton. Personally, I cannot paint on cellulose paper unless I'm just doing a quick sketch or a quick study. I just like to paint with a lot of water and a lot of layers. So cellulose paper just ends up peeling and tearing, and it just doesn't work for me. So it's very unusual that you would find student grade paper made of 100% cotton. It is 300 GSM or £140. If you don't know what that means, of course, it means that it's quite a thick paper. So every sheet is quite thick, which means it can hold a lot of water without buckling. And that is very important for me as well. I sometimes do paint on paper that is less heavy or less thick, and I can still do that, but of course I have to kind of stop earlier when it comes to the amount of layers that I'm putting down. The size of this specific block is 7 by 4.9 inches or 18 by 12.5 centimetres. So it's very small. It's the size of a postcard, and I was surprised when I received it in the mail. I had ordered this together with another bunch of things and I had not paid attention to this size. And the brands I usually use do not make blocks in a size this small. So yes, it was unexpected, and I find it really interesting and I really like it because I can take this block wherever I want. I can put it in my bag, and if you like painting outside, this is something that comes in really useful, really handy. Also, it's less challenging because you can commit to making a painting or portrait or whatever it is you like painting in less time. And also, if you're going through an art block, it's less daunting facing, that big blank page than having to, commit to something as small as this. It looks like Baohong paper for watercolour has become extremely popular. I see it popping up on social media very often. I'm not quite sure why this is happening right now. However, as I said at the beginning of the video, I did buy this over a year ago when I knew that certain artists were using it, but it wasn't as popular as it seems to be now. And for this reason, I cannot remember how much I paid for it. However, I saw a post recently of someone who'd bought 3 blocks of it in different sizes and paid €40 for all 3 blocks, which is a little more than $40. So I'm assuming that it is quite cheaper than other professional brands like Arches or Winsor & Newton. And this is student grade because Academy is student grade apparently, but it does not behave like student grade. I used loads of water and I was expecting the paper to start peeling, buckling, ripping at any moment, but that did not happen at all. I was extremely impressed. It held up beautifully, and this is my unbiased and 100% honest opinion. Of course, I'm not being paid to say this, nor was this paper sent to me for free. I would have said so otherwise. I find that it takes a while to figure out what watercolour paper can do for you. For example, for me, it took me years to figure out what hot pressed Arches watercolour paper could do for me. I loved it, but I hated it as well. And when I discovered what I loved about it, of course, I kept on using it. But I don't use it all the time because it is a challenging paper and it takes a certain level of expertise to be able to paint on it satisfyingly. The same thing applies to this watercolour paper. It does take some figuring out, but the process is much shorter and it takes much less effort on the artist's side. I definitely think that it's more beginner friendly, and if what I read online is true, then definitely price wise I would recommend this watercolour paper 100%. And also I really loved the way the colour blends on it. It almost seems like it blends itself seamlessly without me having to do much of the work at all. So I give it a thumbs up. And this is all for today. If you would like to take my full-length narrated tutorials, you can find them on Patreon, starting at the $5 a month upwards tier, and that will give you immediate access to all my past tutorials as well. Some tutorials of mine can also be found on Skillshare. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. It really helps this channel out. I will see you next week. Bye for now.